Welcome to Film Room with Coach Kevin O'Connell. And Coach, congratulations on the big win. We've got a few plays here that we're going to talk about, pick out. Can't wait to hear what went right for the Vikings this week.
Yeah, I think we've got a good trifecta of plays that really highlight kind of one of the big stories of our team and of the day. Was really kind of overcoming some adversity and making plays kind of within how the Lions were defending us or maybe attacking us defensively, and how we kind of combated that. But just taking a look at this first play, obviously coming off of a pass interference penalty where Justin Jefferson draws that on a third down. Kirk did a great job getting this into a good protection there. This was the first and goal off that. What you're going to notice is they actually put in extra defensive linemen right here. So you'll see all those big guys with the hand in the dirt or in the turf there at US Bank. And the other thing you'll notice is there's really no safety back there. So we know they're essentially playing a variation of some zero coverage right here. The other thing you're going to see is man alignments across the board. So when you see that type of these players across the board responsible for different parts of our eligibles in the formation, we really know that we've got a real opportunity to activate kind of a scheme here where you'll see Justin go and fake the toss. And if we restart this play, what you'll notice is what we noticed a lot at the US Bank Stadium the other day, as Justin's going to come and basically fake like he's going to get a toss from Kirk. We're in a formation over here where Adam Thielen and Johnny Munt look like they're going to be potential down blockers for Justin potentially getting this toss. Dalvin's over here in the plus alignment, we call that. But all we're trying to do is the illusion of complexity. If you think back to the opener against Green Bay, our first touchdown was on a very similar play where when you look at it, Justin did something very similar. He just ran straight. We ended up getting a pick and we threw him the ball to the flat right there. On this play, we're trying to trigger the same response from the defense, thinking like, hey, this guy is just absolutely not going to allow Justin Jefferson to run to the flat. So what we think might happen is he may try to come off of this as Justin runs like this. We think that corner will come off, and now will they have the communication, the ability to what we call pass off the next available player, which is Adam Thielen right here. You'll see Johnny Munt's going to run underneath Kirk with a great fake, and when you pause this defender right here is really in a bind. He's really in a bind because he doesn't know whether to keep running with Justin and potentially leave him open for an easy touchdown. You see this defender right here is trying to signal to him to know you've got to stay back over there, but it's all happening in real time, happening in a hurry right here. Kirk does a great job setting his feet back to obviously Johnny Munt as number one right here, but then number two just happens to be that wide open player, Adam Thielen, in the back of the end zone, and it's really good to see him get involved down there. Hard to get people sometimes in a low part of the field like that open, but when we can see Adam Thielen wide open like that, Kirk's going to find him.
And it's always difficult, I know this from coaching, is when you have a substitute defense. It's not something that you practice a ton.
Yep.
And that it's so difficult for a defense when you have an odd group in to cover everything.
Yeah, exactly right.
So that was a beautiful way of taking advantage of it and making them pass everything.
No doubt. And the next play we'll take a look at here. Now we're going to go to the defensive side. And I thought this was a critical moment in the game where the Lions had a good plan for us early on. They were doing some things in the run and pass game, kind of had us on our heels a little bit on defense. But in the moment of a fourth and one, obviously Dan Campbell went for it multiple times in the game, and they were getting into these 4th and 1, 2 situations where, quite frankly, it's a tough group to defend with the physicality they play with in the run game. But what they're going to do right here is a very similar run that we ran a couple times just off of some different footworks, but they're going to basically kind of counter footwork the back. They're going to try to get double teams at the point of attack. You see these double teams right there. They're trying to get movement and get our guys all flowing this way. See if they can get everybody flowing down the line of scrimmage this way and open up a crease right back here where Cam Bynum's going to show up. But what they're basically deciding right here is we're okay leaving him one-on-one with Cam Bynum. But unfortunately for them, they had to deal with Danielle Hunter. And Danielle right here fighting a great stalemate fight versus this tight end. That's a very tough block for a tight end to make in space. But the other thing you're going to see from behind this kind of camera that Fox had blocking Eric Kendricks right there is you're going to see him show up as well. But what I thought was a huge part of this play, Daniil doing his job, Eric Kendricks, one of the best in football, showing up to be physical at that point of attack. But Cam, on a 4th and short, firing his gun. And although he didn't make the play right there, he fired in there and is at least able to make that run have to bounce ever so slightly before he gets back vertical upfield. And in that moment, here comes Eric Kendricks, here comes Daniil off the block, and then we end up with 4, 5, 6 purple hats right there. And these guys were fired up at that moment. They got us the ball back, and we're able to go down and start making some momentum back against this team.
And it's hard enough for Daniil Hunter to two-gap, let alone not lose any yardage, meaning he pushed that tight end back, held the point, and was able to look inside and get back outside. So for Daniil being the first year in a 3-4, that's very, very encouraging that he's able to do that.
It's a great point, and I think it talks to what Mike Smith and those guys are teaching on defense, technique, fundamentals, but using our playmakers at these positions where two-gap and you're asking a guy to do 2 jobs at once, be responsible for multiple areas. You got to win those matchups, especially when they're going to put a tight end over them like that. And then ultimately, as this kind of momentum building plays take place, we get into this 2-minute drive. There's about just over a minute left. We use our timeouts kind of subtly there to try to save as much time at the 2-minute warning as we could. Defense got us the ball back, and this was obviously the KJ Osborne touchdown. This actually came off of a play where on the previous play, we ran a variation just like this where Justin Jefferson, when you're really looking at this, Justin ended up running kind of a similar route like this just to try to peel open some space for KJ. All right, and then we come back, and I knew if we came back and called this play, I actually didn't really have this play up in the plan, something we kind of talked about right before this drive started. KJ had just caught a ball, like I said, running across the field in a way where this defender had to chase him like that. So on this very next snap, we came back in no huddle mode, and we activated a concept where now he's going to sell that exact same route, understanding that he's going to start down and then he's going to come out and be the top shelf. Adam Thielen's going to get right in his hip and be here. We'll end up getting this tight end out to the flat and understanding, like we talked about all day long, there's Justin Jefferson, but what do you notice behind him like it was most of the day? Yep. You've got a pressed up defender with a half field safety over the top of him, really trying to eliminate him from the plan. So if that's going to happen, there's going to be times, Justin knows this, where we're going to cut the field in half and we're going to play ball over here with KJ, Adam Thielen, and in this case, Irv Smith down here ending up coming to the flat. But what you'll notice is as KJ starts down, similar to the route he just previously ran, you'll see this defender hop inside right there. Yep. He jumped inside, and what that did is now the leverage of this defense is lost because you can see they're trying to keep outside leverage on Adam Thielen right there. They really want to keep outside leverage on KJ, but when he wins to that corner right there, he threw up his hand to help Kirk see it. He didn't need to do that, but Kirk obviously seeing it and turning that thing loose. And the other thing about this play, if we go to the end zone copy of this play, is Kirk Cousins standing in when we absolutely had to have it and making a throw right here. That one of the things this team did a good job of is they moved the front all day long. They had different movement with Hutchinson and some of these edge rushers. Our line did a really good job holding up for the most part during the day, but watch this. Little leakage late right there. Kirk's got extended hands right in his face, but to be able to see this in rhythm and turn this thing loose and get this ball thrown to KJ just with that push, edge straining to do everything he can. We're fighting the good fight up front with Garrett and obviously Ezra, and you see CDs obviously set the pocket with Brian O'Neill. Didn't want to make note. I did want to make note of those guys in the day they had, but Kirk Cousins knows there's going to be critical moments in the game where we need him to make throws like that from what I call an NFL pocket right there.
And again, for the fans and for the folks listening, that is an incredible amount of communication in between plays to relay that, make a decision, get it on the field, and then an incredible amount of execution by these guys. And so that's why this game is so difficult. It's not easy to do.
And you know what? As we build our offense, it's one of the things I talk to our guys about. We're going to have an inventory of all these in-game adjustments. Hey, remember when we did that versus the Lions? Remember when we did that, versus the Saints in London? Those will be inventory that we can call back upon for years and years, but we're still so early on where I got to remember sometimes these guys maybe haven't heard me say some of these things. So real time, we'll be doing a little bit more coaching on the fly, but our guys can handle it. And ultimately, it's about getting our guys going and making Kirk comfortable.
Well, communication in London should be the same as it is here in America. We'll see what happens this Sunday.